France will very soon start to evacuate its nationals from Niger, where a coup last Wednesday led to anti-French protests. Paris's embassy in Niamey says evacuation by air will take place in what it says is the face of degrading security situation in Niamey and taking advantage of the relative calm in the capital. It says evacuations will take place very soon in a very limited span of time. Now, I'm joined by our senior international affairs editor, Philip Toll. By that statement, the communiqué from Paris, I understand that's now.
It appears that evacuation, you're quite right, Nicholas, is going to start today. And figures are not completely confirmed yet, but we're talking about 1,500 people in all. We're not too sure about how many French nationals there are. Some figures say 600, some say 850. Many of those French nationals are saying that they're not ready yet to leave Niger. There is a difference between those who want to go because they feel scared for their safety, those who say it's not about French people individually, it's about France's potential role in Niger and the perception of France wanting to control the country. But most of the population in Niger don't have anything against the French as individuals, so they want to stay put. But I think this call comes because the French government is getting rather uneasy about what's happening, the unfolding of events in the country, this argument about France's role, the attack against the French embassy that took place, the reaction by Emmanuel Macron saying that France would come down very heavily on anybody who attempts to take control of the situation there or injures French nationals or any members of the French military. I think that's one of the reasons that France wants to take its nationals out of the country. And the second one is that because there's a no-fly zone in Niger, the French say that people can't leave on their own accord. They have to be taken out by the military because they can't fly out of the country. At the moment, the no-fly zone introduced by the sanctions by ECOWAS, the Economic Community of West African States. So I think those are the two main reasons today. But it certainly shows that the French government does have the jitters about how events are unfolding in the country, and those who want to leave are going to be able to do that today or very quickly, as the French Foreign Ministry has been saying.
So, Philip, there we're seeing evacuations by France out of Niger. Meanwhile, the neighbouring countries of Burkina Faso and Mali are warning any military intervention in the country to restore the deposed President Mohamed Bazoum would be considered a declaration of war against their two countries. Those two countries are junta-led. Philip, they are emphatically backing this coup and they're opposing the West African bloc ECOWAS and its threat to use force if the Niger junta does not capitulate. So very tense. What's at stake here now? Well,
what we're seeing appearing is two blocks. You have the blocks which are controlled by the military junta where there have been coups. We'll talk about Burkina Faso, Mali, Guinea and now Niger. The ECOWAS, Economic Community of West African States, in many of those countries is seen as like an arm of France, an extension of the French influence in West Africa. They don't want to have anything to do with it. And they're saying if ECOWAS is going to launch an attack in Niger to try to restore Mohamed Bazoum, the deposed president, to power, then they will intervene to stop that from happening because they will back the military junta that has now taken control in Niger. So we're seeing a standoff between two different groups within West Africa, democratically elected governments of those in ECOWAS and the military junta, where there have been coups and the democratically elected governments have been overthrown, most recently last week in Niger, and that is where the standoff is taking place. There's also, I think, the feeling in Mali that France may be planning some kind of an attack itself to try to restore Mohamed Bazoum to power. This has been dismissed by Catherine Colonna, the French foreign minister, saying France has no intention of doing that at all. The only intervention that France will do is a protection intervention. It won't go on the offensive. That's why they're going to launch this evacuation of French and foreign nationals from the city right now, but they're not going to try to restore Mohamed Bazoum to power. That is purely something that would happen under the auspices of ECOWAS. France would have to fall in line with what ECOWAS has decided. It can't take the initiative to intervene in Niger on its own accord. So I think that has also fueled the speculation that there could be more anti-French action within Niger, with the fear that France may be planning to launch some kind of attack. And all that plays into the hands of the junta leaders who are pointing the finger at France, saying France has never given up trying to influence the situation in Niger since it was the colonial power. France, of course, doesn't agree with that. And look what's happening. They're even planning now to come in to restore President Bazoum to power. That's why we need the support of everybody to move the country forward. That's not the opinion of ECOWAS. That is not the opinion of the French. And that's why we're seeing this standoff now between these two different warring factions.
Thank you to you, Philip, for looking at what is a deepening crisis here as we go from day to day.